the only kid in the school who can dunk a basketball.
He's a towel. Classic John face.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing John Culliton.
For those of you who I have not gotten to know over the past 3 years, there's something you should know about me. I'm a nerd. I love physics, calculus, and wrenching on anything with an engine and a set of wheels. But most of all, I love Star Wars. I've watched the entire trilogies too many times to count. My favorite toy was a giant Millennium Falcon that was so heavy I couldn't lift it. I built dozens of Lego sets, from stormtroopers to the Death Star that carried them, and I dressed as Darth Vader, not just one Halloween, but every Halloween. The costume was too small to fit. As I think about my life, I realize that it has many similarities to Star Wars. I like to think of myself as Luke Skywalker. Luke was a farm boy, born and raised on the small planet of Tatooine. My early years were spent in a small house overlooking Lake Minnetonka. Luke loved wrenching on R2-D2 and C-3PO as I do with cars and dirt bikes. He was an excellent pilot of any vehicle he stepped foot in. I often mistakenly consider myself as a good pilot. Luke was introduced to a whole nother galaxy beyond his small home planet. I was born in Minnesota, but I've lived in 3 states, attended 6 schools, and seen a good part of the world. Luke is a quick learner and became an avid disciple of the Force, as I have with my passions, but Luke and I have much to learn to become Jedi Masters. If I'm Luke Skywalker, here are some of the people closest to me and their Star Wars counterparts. My brother Will is little Anakin Skywalker. Anakin showed great potential in the Force at a young age. Will was cutting down city and state basketball championship nets from 3rd grade on. Anakin was defeating veteran Sith Lords as a Padawan. My brother is an 8th grader who is going to try playing against kids 4 years older and 50 pounds heavier than him on varsity basketball this year at Breck. No pressure, Will. Next year, he will be faced with the fate-changing decision of whether or not to succumb to the dark side and attend a bigger high school in the hunt for more athletic power. Joey is Han Solo. He is a brave and sometimes dicey smuggler for the rebellion. Joey and Han are masters at getting away with things under the nose of the Empire despite impossible odds. And neither of them ever pay people back. Solo is a ladies' man. Joey, enough said. Although it may seem like he is constantly dragging me into trouble, I've had some of my best and most adventurous experiences with him. Like biking across Lake Minnetonka in the dead of winter and down Mount Baldy in Sun Valley, parkouring the rooftops of Excelsior, or driving 20 miles through a blizzard warning to see Did You Hear About the Morgans, by far the worst movie we have ever seen. We also give meaning to the statement, nothing good happens after midnight. Throughout Han's adventures in mischief, he always has good intentions, whether to save his friends or simply to have a good time. And he always remains loyal to the people closest to him. Same goes for Joe. I know he would come rescue me in a snowstorm on Hoth, or sneak out at 2 in the morning to give my car a jump. And I would do the same. Akila is Chewbacca. She is always sitting in the passenger seat of the ship she's in because she doesn't have a license. And is usually telling the pilot what to do and what music to play. She often forces pilots to escort her to the outer rim of the galaxy. Can you say Shakopee? She can be a little grumpy and loud at times, but she is a true companion who never has harsh intentions, and I love her for that. Paige is Jabba the Hutt My dad is Obi-Wan Kenobi. He is old, yes, he's turning 50 this month, and wise. Considered a master of the Force, or TV broadcasting, by clients and loved ones. Luke did not meet Obi-Wan until he was a young adult. My dad spent some of my early years out of town, working or building his golf course, which he would later use to teach me the ways of a golf club, once I could walk. He also refused to change my diapers. Although Obi-Wan isn't present during every moment of Luke's journey of learning the Force, he gives Luke guidance in every time of struggle or despair. My dad has spent a lot of time out of town since I was in 8th grade, so he doesn't really get a chance to see my day-to-day life. However, just like Obi-Wan, he steps into my journey at key moments of my life, whether good or bad, to give me invaluable support. I take my dad's advice to heart. He has given me answers to major questions in my life, and he will continue to subtly mold me into the adult I want to be. Obi-Wan sacrificed himself for the benefit of Luke, and I know my dad would do the same for me, no questions asked. My mom is the emperor because she controls everything, from the clothes I wear to the colleges I'm applying to. George Aird is my Yoda. Just like Luke, I only knew him for a short period of time, but words cannot describe the lessons I learned from him. In the year and 3 months I was able to spend time with him, I learned what it is like to know an all-caring, all-loving person. From watching him ruthlessly drum on every object within reach to the tune of Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love and the Who's Baba O'Reilly, to the last time he gave me one of his famous vice grip handshakes while saying, "Love you like family." I cherish every moment I spent with George. Yoda represented the small amount of good left in the galaxy, and I believe George did too. I know that the people who knew him as a father, husband, family member, friend, or mentor will carry on his legacy in the future generations. And I know that, just like Yoda, he is somewhere in a place of all good right now, watching over his family and all of us. I hope to be half the man he was and I hope to be half the man he was and always will be. George, love you like family. Will Smith is Admiral Akbar. Akbar is the leader of the Rebel fleet during the final attack on the Empire, or in our case, the treacheries of Breck's schoolwork. Akbar lets the fleet know when the deflector shield of the second Death Star is up. Will lets us know when the calculus or physics test is...
John, it's a trap!
Thanks, Bo. He also shares similarities to Princess Leia, because let's face it, we've all secretly been a little attracted to Will at one point or another. You can thank Curtis for that one. You may be wondering who Curtis is, since I somehow haven't mentioned him yet. Well, Darth Vader. He grew up in the Republic of Breck, enjoying a peaceful life with fellow followers of the light side of the Force. Along the way, many criticized him for being pompous or thinking too highly of himself, just like Anakin. His quest for all superiority was hindered by the loss of his ACL, the equivalent of a lightsaber, leaving him desperate for a pathway to more power. His first temptation occurred on a college visit, where he and his family coincidentally visited a boarding school for his sister. The admissions director of Westminster School explained the limitless power achievable by transferring to the dark side. Though being held back a year and moving 1,000 miles east may seem illogical to us Jedis, Curtis's all-powerful mind led him there in the quest for more power. His path to the dark side was long and hard on loved ones, but the deed has been done, and now he is off somewhere, leading the Empire in his hunt to become the ultimate Laxbro. However, this path has not gone completely according to plan, as our Sith Lord lost his lightsaber once again 2 weeks ago. He tore his ACL again. But let's be honest, he makes a perfect Darth Vader. Have you ever heard him breathe? So those are my Star Wars comparisons. I'll admit it, I'm a nerd. My social skills could use some work. I spent a lot of time researching vehicles on the computer, and I have just as great of an interest in differential equations as I do for swapping camshafts to see how far I can jump my dirt bike without breaking my bike, or me. I did not necessarily want to be considered a nerd. However, having these traits has made my life easier. I know what I love and what I want to do in life. In 10 years, I may not be shooting a pair of photon torpedoes down the thermal exhaust port of the Death Star, nor building the next Star Destroyer for the Empire. But I know I'll be doing something I love. For you, the Force could be anything you enjoy, as long as it doesn't lead down a path to the dark side. Don't be afraid of what you love, as fear is another path to the dark side. We all have the potential to be students of some type of Force. The key is to find it and embrace it. Like Luke, we are all going to be faced with a whole new galaxy, seemingly far, far away from our small home planet of Tatooine, or Breck, in the near future. My final piece of advice is to cherish the ones you love. Enjoy every minute you have with them, and make every moment count. May the Force be with you.